Hello everybody, my name is Boyce Fitzgerald and welcome to Real Life Stock Video. It has been a bit since I published a video. I apologize for that. I've had a lot of work and family commitments, and I hope you understand that I do report as often as I can and when I have information that I hope is helpful to you. Okay, today we're going to talk about sales for the last period. I have 70 something sales clips, and so I've got some analysis for that and also some overall sales trends for the year, which I'll show you after we talk about this. Not a lot has changed in the last time I talked about this. And what I mean by that is we're still seeing aerial sales very high. If you have a drone, there's no reason that you're not, there should be no reason that you're not getting sales. You just need to make compelling, interesting videos of places and people, locations and themes, okay? And I'll show you some of the things that are selling. But overall, out of the clips that sold in this period, 22 of them, that's the highest percentage, were drone clips. And that is to me significant because I don't do all that many drone clips. I do have a drone, I do fly it, I do some real estate videos sometimes. I also travel and I'll fly the drone, but I don't set out and do a lot of drone shots. Not a high percentage of my shots are drone, and yet that's what's selling the most. The next to the highest thing that sold was time lapses. This is really good. 13 of the clips were time lapses. I'm very excited about that because time lapses are my favorite thing to do. To me, they're magical, they're fun. And not all of them, by the way, were just, clouds or sunrises and sunsets. One of the time lapses that sold is a Petri dish with fungus growing on it over time. And another one was of animals in a farm production type situation, chickens laying eggs and feeding. And so when you think of time lapses, don't always do the landscape time lapses, although I love doing those. Think of other things that might look good and compelling in a time lapse. The next thing that sold the most was people with releases. So I'm talking about you're videoing people and you have a release for them and you have some type of story that goes along with it. They're gardening, they're cooking, they're playing games with friends, they're doing their taxes, whatever it might be. I sold 11 clips of those, and I'm not, when you do this, it's important that you're careful that you don't have logos on their shirts and that you can get a release for the people in the clip. I sold 7 macro shots. I haven't talked a lot about macro shots, but I just noticed that a lot of the shots that we're selling are close-ups. So when you're doing those clips with people cooking, do some close-ups. Do some close-ups of the whatever it might be, stirring, mixing, or if it's an auto mechanic, do some close-ups just of the tools and the operation that's going on there. Those sell, and you don't need releases with that either. You can do those without releases. So don't look aside. Make sure whenever you're doing stock video that you do really close, fairly close, cropped in, that you do wide and super wide. So get all the aspects of everything that you're filming. There were 6 shots that are POV. So when I say POV, what am I talking about? I'm talking about shots that look like you're driving down the road, you're on a bike, you're on a hike, you're walking, something that looks like it's filmed in the perspective of the person. You could also call it first person view. I sold 6 of those. If I break the shots up into large categories, a lot of them are establishing shots and a lot of them are environmental shots. What do I mean by environmental shots? I mean a shot that shows something about the environment. That's a hot topic nowadays. So I'm talking about solar panels or garbage along the side of the road or waste of some kind, or the opposite, where things are being picked up and cleaned and beautified and renovated. So those things that affect our environment are, that's just a hot topic, and I sold 25. So that is, with some of them were aerial, some of them are people, some of them are time lapses, but the environment is a big topic, and 25 of the clips were that. And then establishing shots. Establishing shots are often editorial because they have logos on them. You can do a university or a hospital or a street. Establishing shots don't often sell over and over and over again. In other words, if you do one establishing shot of, let's say, a hospital in your area or a university that you live by, don't expect to sell that 20 times a year, but you are going to sell it 3 or 4 times. And if that's worth it to you to make that kind of money on a shot that only takes a little while to do, then I suggest you do it, because establishing shots will sell. Because of the nature of them, they're going to be commercials, and that takes a little bit more work, but you're gonna get some sales. I sold 21 establishing shots. Here's something that is a little bit of a surprise to me. In the course of doing a real estate video, one of the people that I was doing it for wanted a 360 type scene. The only way I could do it was to buy an Insta360 X3. Well, I could have bought some other 360 camera, but anyway, that was the best camera for the money. I also have taken that on a few trips while I'm traveling, and it's fun. It's fun for Instagram posts, it's fun for Facebook and other social media type posts. I don't think the quality is that good. What you have is you have 5.7 K sensor, but that 5.7K is all around you. And so when you reframe it into a 16:9 timeline, it's really not that high quality video. But what I have found is that the perspective is interesting enough, and if you output it into 1080p, the quality is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And surprisingly, those have been selling. I haven't had the 360 very long, but it has been selling. I sold 3 clips. That's not a lot, but I'm only talking about in the last 3 or 4 weeks have I been doing this, and I'll show you some examples, but these clips are potentially worth doing. I don't necessarily think it's worth going out and buying a 360 camera, but if you need one for fun, for vlogging, which you can do. I also have done some of my shorts are filmed on a 363X. So if you're doing it for that anyway, or for real estate or for any other reason, then go ahead and look for opportunities, especially I think in the hyperlapse type situation. The motion blur and the editing software that comes with it is a pretty interesting and fun to do, and it might be worth looking at. Now let's look at some specific totals for 2023. Okay, let's start out by looking at the earnings for 2023. You can see here that I'm at $6,900 plus, and that's up through part of October, most of October. October is not going to stay at 566. I'll show you why in a minute. But the nice thing is here that if I average from January to September, not including October because it's not finished, if I average those months out, I'm at $706 and a little bit more per month. $700 average is a nice average because to me that translates into equipment and vacation travel where I can do more stock video with better equipment and in more locations. So that's what I do with my earnings. Depending on who you are, where you live, and what your earnings are, of course, that can mean something different for you. If I look at 2022, you can see that in 2022 I earned $6,485 total. My lowest month was $215. My highest month was, it looks like, $772 in November. So that's 2023 is going to be better. will be over $7,000, probably over $8,000, even $9,000 in 2023. And of course, you expect to earn a little bit more each month, each year, because each year you have more stock video. If I go back to 2021, then I'm at 4,500 about, with an average earning, I mean, just looking at it, probably around 350. So I'm earning double what I did 2 years ago. And that also has to do with better quality, learning as you go. I started out, as you know, with no experience, and my only equipment I had at the time was a drone and a smartphone. If we go to the earnings tab, I've already broken this down, these clips and what they mean. You can see that for this period, I've got 78 clips that sold. Some of them sold for more than others, of course. But what I want to show you here is the historical analytics. Okay, let's look at this for 12 months down here, and that gives us a better overall view. So here's what I'd like to point out. In April, this is my lowest amount for royalty-free sales. These sales here, these totals here, are for royalty-free sales. Those are the clips that come in one at a time saying, congratulations, clip whatever sold for $26 or sold for $4 or whatever it sold for. Those are royalty-free sales. And my lowest month in 2023, April, for $326. However, in discount packs, I sold $340 worth of clips, more than I did for royalty-free. So the discount packs were worth more than the total sum of the individual sales. And then subscription sales was another $143. So I ended up with $809, which is my highest month ever. So even though April is the lowest month in the individual sales that were reported, it was the highest month I have on record. Now here in October, we're at $547.63, and some discount pack sales have been reported, but a lot more will be reported. They won't be reported till November, but they will be in my October sales total and payout, which will be on November 20th. So by then, this will be probably around $100, but potentially more. And this will be another $100 to $200. So we're looking at 7, 8, maybe even close, could be fairly higher than 8. This October is looking to be my highest sales month of the year, but it certainly will be over $700. I hope this has been helpful. Consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing. I'd appreciate any thoughts, comments you have, and I respond to all of them. Have a good day.